my name is Hajer Sharief, and I'm the co-founder of Together We Build It organization. And I would say throughout the past decade, a little bit more than 10 years ago, I've been working on peace building, peacemaking, and promoting the inclusion of women and youth in peace processes, and really pushing for them to be part of decision-making processes as well.
Hajer Sharief, welcome to the Nobel Peace Center.
Thank you so much for having me.
So it's our pleasure to have you here, and today we are having the talk outside, and especially on this peace bench, which is formed in a U that brings people together in the middle. We have been inspired by a quote from Nelson Mandela: "The best weapon is to sit down and talk." So the name of the bench is The Best Weapon. Today we will talk a lot about dialogue in various ways and how it makes an impact on you, how you use it, and around the world in your work. What role does actually dialogue play in your work?
You know, dialogue really address problems from a perspective that can reach to solutions. And I think this is why, for me, dialogue is an important part of my work. I come from a conflict-affected country, and during these wars, I always question, did these people talk to each other before they decide to fight or not? And so for me, dialogue, as I said, when I hear it, it's really few different things. It's safe space, it's building trust, it's solving issues, it's finding agreements, solving disagreements, but it's also a very good tool to prevent problems from escalating further.
Do you have one specific dialogical experience that made like a personal impact on you or even changed you?
One experience where we were facilitating a dialogue, and it started with a dinner because we wanted, people to get to know each other. And these are people who come from different political backgrounds, and also were involved in armed conflicts on the ground. And you can see how the different groups were sitting separately from one another. One was sitting on this side of the room, and then someone else was sitting far away because they didn't even want that proximity. And then at the end of the meeting, people were sitting next to each other on benches and having coffee together, even without the need of us having to facilitate the conversation. It started to become very natural for these people to talk to each other because, they found the human connection. So I think that's definitely an experience that stays with me.
So you work a lot with dialogue, including women in your peace work and in dialogue. Can you tell us about that? How do you specifically invite women to dialogue?
Women are already peace builders. They are already doing the peace work. The problem is not about getting women to do the work. The problem is that when it comes to, especially at the formal level and formal decision-making processes, that's where women struggle to have access to such processes, right?
Okay.
I see incredible work that women are doing on the ground, whether it's humanitarian response, whether it's raising awareness, whether it's conflict prevention, whether it's also mediating local conflicts and preventing local conflicts from escalating. Sometimes, mediators and facilitators of dialogue spaces, especially at the very, very formal and official level, maybe they do not really fully understand the role that women play. So for them, if there is an armed conflict, they will assume if you bring those who are fighting on the ground together to reach a solution, then khalas, you have peace, right?
Yes.
But peace is much more than that. So it's not that they're not doing the work. It's not that they don't have the expertise and the experience. It's not that they don't want to engage with dialogue. It's very, very simple that they are not invited to these spaces.
So such big companies as Hydro, how can they contribute to dialogue?
When it comes to the private sector and big companies, is really to start to recognize the political power they have. Because I think we no longer live in a world where it's only dependent on governments. I think if I would reflect on the past almost 13 years of my work, I can definitely start to see a little bit of like more understanding from the private sector that when it comes to peace and dialogue, this is not, a political matter that is separate from them. For them to be able to survive and scale up and do what companies want to do, they also need stability. They also need to live in a world that is peaceful, that is stable, that is secured. And if they don't contribute to that, then they will also be affected and impacted. Whether you are based in Oslo or whether you're based in Libya or whether you're based somewhere else, we all need a peaceful, secure world for all of us to strive.
And Hajer, this is actually not your first time here at the Nobel Peace Center. You have been giving the prize of the monthly dialogue voice. Like people that have done something for the spread of dialogue, for working actively for dialogue in Norway. So when was this?
So this was in 2022, and it was given to the organization I co-founded, Together We Build It, together with Otea. Because we had facilitated a dialogue together. And the funny thing that I just realized is that when I came here in 2022 and we had a similar conversation, I actually realized I was wearing the same clothes.
Oh, that's great.
So from 2022 to now, a lot has changed. But the conversation around the importance of dialogue remained the same. And I thank you and the Nobel Peace Center for that, because it's an important conversation to continue to have. It shouldn't be a one-off conversation that happens one time, but it's a continued conversation. And that's what dialogue is also about, right?
It is.
A continued conversation. So thanks
definitely.
for this.
So thank you for coming here again.
Thank you so much.
And I wish you a very good summer in Oslo
Same
and
to you.
around the world. Good luck with your work.
So to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.